you about a little show that I'm involved in. It's going to be so much fun. It's a pantomime called Mother Goose, which features, obviously, an enormous egg. I've got to lay one of these 8 times a weekend. Just think of me. Think of the pelvic floor muscles after that. Right, guys, this is a massive moment. Mother Goose will be travelling to Brighton, to London, and thence round the country. I have a couple of associates inside the Golden Egg that I would like to introduce you to. I'm now going to turn my back on you. Please ignore the rather horrendous visible pantomime on these trousers. But I will be slightly bending down as I aim for the golden hatchback, as we like to call it, to reveal something very, very precious inside. Here we go. Are you ready? Everybody? Come on, let's have a whoa. Here we go, it's spring loaded. The door will come up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Royal Knight of the Theatre, Sir Lawrence Olivier. And we have the marvellous Jimmy Carr. So please, gentlemen, will you step out, please? Ian McKellen, everybody. John Bishop, everybody. Right, ladies and gents, here we are. Sir Ian McKellen, John Bishop, Sue Perkins. And we are very, very excited to welcome you to Gooseland. Mother Goose will be happening at the beginning of December, and we will be taking this show around.
John, what on earth are you doing in a pantomime?
I'm not in a pantomime, I'm in a play with Sir Ian McKellen.
Oh, is that right?
That happens to involve somebody dressing up in a dress,
Yeah,
a lot of singing, a lot of dancing.
Well, of course, once you've played Tranky, can the goose be far behind, is what I always say. And so I'm the goose, you're my goose.
I'm the goose.
But what do you do? I don't
I'm your love interest.
Oh.
That's what I am. I'm the eye candy.
Well,
I am Paul Goose. So we're married, and what happens is we're poor, and so we have a wish to get money out of nowhere, and so then we get a goose that lays golden eggs and makes us rich. This is very important, because today is the Tory party conference, and Tory Kwarteng is also praying for a goose to come to lay golden eggs, because apparently that's their economic policy.
He is, of course, the Chancellor of the Exchequer. I'm sorry, gang, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. A, for coming outside to Leicester Square, and B, for following us here. Anyway, lovely to see you here. We've got questions, I believe, from the gang in the audience, our front row gang. So should we kick off? I think Josh has got a question. Or is Josh going to be... Josh is on screen, I think. Josh on screen.
What's the story of Mother Goose?
Straight in there, Josh. Lovely. Just no niceties, no hello. It's lovely. He's gone.
And can I just say to the other children, Josh recorded this message because he's gone to school.
So Josh's question, what is the story of Mother Goose? Ian, what's your take on the story? What is the story?
Well, Mother Goose is not a goose. But she's a mother, and she's got a son called Jack, and she's got a husband called Vic. And I'm playing the part of Mother Goose, and I have an animal sanctuary. I look after sick animals, including one day a goose, which is played by Mel. And she's hurt her wing.
Suddenly I'm in the room, suddenly I'm here. They're talking about me, lovely, I'm here.
And she's so grateful to Mother Goose and to Vic Goose for looking after her that she does something absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you can say what that is.
What do you think it might be, guys? Oh, India's on it. India, what do you think?
Laying on it.
Laying a golden egg.
She laid a golden egg. Can you believe it?
every day, I believe.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than once a day.
Not always as big as the one outside.
Hopefully not, Ian. Hopefully not, or I'll never get on a trampoline again. Now, Maya.
But the story, hang on,
Oh,
the story.
sorry.
You want to know the story, Mel?
Don't give the whole thing away.
I won't give you any more, but Mother Goose and Big Goose don't have much money, and they spend it all on the animals. And I'm afraid Mother Goose spends a bit on her own clothes and that, which upsets you a little bit.
Just a little bit, but it makes you prettier.
Thank you. And I need all the help I can get. And so when the goose arrives and the golden egg arrives, then all their problems seem to be solved. They've got all the money in the world and they can look after the animals. We think everything's going to be all right. And that's when there's a twist and turn in the story, and I'm not going to tell you what happens next. So that'll just keep you going for the first beginning of the Panto.
Yeah, you're going to have to come and see it, everybody, and tell everybody to come and also see it. Shall I do the next question, Ian? Is that allowed now? Can I go on to the next question? Yeah. Oh, I got the steely blue eyes of Ian there. That was absolutely marvellous. Oh, no, Ian. Now, have we got Maya and Kiana? Oh, sisters. Is it Mia or Maya? Maya and Kiana. What's your question?
What do you do when you get frightened on stage?
All I'm going to say is don't get downwind of me when I'm frightened on stage. I'm just going to say that. Although I will be in a large goose costume, so everything will stay within the body of the costume. What about you two? John, do you get scared on stage?
Well, my normal job is I'm a comedian. So I walk on stage and tell people jokes on my own. And that doesn't scare me because if something goes wrong, I can fix it. Whereas with this, I'll be on stage with lots of other people. And if I do something wrong, it might upset them. So I think I'm going to be most scared of other people. Mainly the important people that we're all trying to impress.
Good, that's the answer. I don't get frightened on stage. I get frightened when I'm not on stage. I'm a bit frightened now.
No, you're not here.
Yeah,
No, don't
a
be
bit.
frightened.
Because in real life, you never know what's going to happen next, do you? I mean, you go to school, you don't actually know what's going to happen when you get there. Whereas when you're in a play or a pantomime or on stage, it's all sorted out. You've rehearsed it. You know what's going to happen next. And even if something goes wrong and some idiot, someone makes a mistake, it's all right. You're all in it together. I think that's it, John. You're going to discover the joys of communal living and working together with other people in an unselfish, loving way.
You won't be lonely anymore, John. You'll have your old friends.
After being married for 30 years, I think I need to learn this.
Well, you've now got another wife in your life, Mother Goose.
And actually, it's quite fun, guys, in the show. There's a little bit of jealousy that goes on in the show to get Ma Goose's attention between us. So watch out for that. There's a little bit of rivalry, a little bit of jealousy. Just gonna put that in the mix. Lovely question from you two. Thank you very, very much indeed. Sid, do you want to?
What's the funniest thing about acting?
Oh, that's a brilliant question. What's the funniest thing
about acting?
about acting?
I would say the funniest thing about acting is pretending that you're somebody else.
Yes, I agree.
Because everybody does it a little bit every day. Everybody pretends. Like I bet you, when you go to school, the times you're in the playground and you pretend you're a superhero and you can fly and you run around like that, and you think that when people grow up, we stop thinking that. You don't. All the men in here still think they're superheroes, and inside they all want to be able to fly. But because we've all grown up, we're not allowed to run around with our hands like that. But when you do a pantomime, you can do it. And that's the funniest thing about acting. You can play again. And that's brilliant.
Very good.
I think you put that very well. I've nothing to add to that.
No. Emily, did you enjoy the lolly? Nice? Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much, Sydney. That was a great question. Now, I was just trying to recall in the playground what the girls all wanted to be. Women in the audience, come on, what do we all want to do? I wanted to be Olivia Newton-John in Greece.
Well, I didn't want to put, I could only talk in the male.
I know, and that was fine. That was absolutely fine.
I'm not disregarding.
No, not at all. And I got nothing back from the women in the audience, so I should very much crack on.
That's why I never mentioned them.
And I'll crack on. Superheroes. Yeah, superheroes.
But there's
Yeah.
real superheroes now. When I was growing up, there wasn't as many.
Yeah, no, we've got loads. I'm sorry for saying Olivia Newton-John, but that's what happened in the 70s. That's what it was like. I wanted to be her. It's all good. Oh, crashing on. Now, have we got Emmy on screen? I think we've got Emmy on screen with a little question. Yes,
Hi, my
Emmy?
name is Emmy, and I was wondering, how old were you when you first went to the theatre?
That's a brilliant question, Emmy.
How old were you when you first went to the theatre?
3.
What did you see?
I went to see Peter Pan. Do you know that story, Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up? And funnily enough, the first production ever of that as a play was at the Duke of York's Theatre, which is just across the road where we're going to be doing this pantomime. Peter Pan. And my mum explained to me the story, and you know, one of the things that happens is that there's a crocodile on stage. And he eats Captain Hook, the villain of the piece. And Peter Pan, of course, flies, and so did the children he goes with to Neverland. Well, they weren't really flying. I could see they were on wires. I was 3.
You're already a critic.
Absolutely. And then the crocodile wasn't a real crocodile, I could tell. But I was an idiot because I didn't notice that the dog, Nana the dog, was actually a small actor with a rug on. So, but 3 years old, you're never too young to go to the theatre, I think. And if you see a pantomime when you're a kid, you might, like me, and like us all, be sort of hooked for life, and realising that more magic happens inside theatres than anywhere else in the world. Just got to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
No,
when
great.
did you first go to the theatre?
I think I first went to the theatre when I was a teenager, about 14 on a school
On
trip.
what? On a school trip?
On a school trip to go and watch Shakespeare in Stratford.
No.
Which
What
one?
did you see?
We saw Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, lovely.
One.
Yeah.
I got lost in his eyes.
No, because like we, you know, we didn't, as a family, as a lot of families, we didn't go to theatre a lot.
No.
And again, it's the same for a lot of people. You know, it can be expensive. That's why this production we've got prices and tickets to try and attract people in. We didn't do it, so I waited till school and we went for the school trip, and that was the first one I did.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful just seeing people doing what you see them do on telly, but doing it in front of you.
Just for you.
Yeah.
Special.
My friend Sasha, absolutely true story, went to see Peter Pan when she was 6. And kids, there's a little bit of a warning here. She went home thinking she could fly.
Is there a bad end to this story?
There was a swift trip to A&E, that's all I can say. So just a little word. Great answers again.
What was your favourite?
Oh, guys, Thorndike Theatre, Leatherhead, aged must have been 4. Went to the Panto every year, and I was saying to the guys last night, the best night of the year. I looked for. Sometimes I threw up. I was so excited. Literally, one time I had a migraine. It was the best night of the year, every year. I loved it, the Thorndike Theatre. You can still see the stains. No, you can't, India, you can't. They cleaned it up, but anyway.
And the funny thing about pantomime is that if you lived in another country, you wouldn't have pantomime. We are the only country that has pantomime. Not in America, a little bit in Canada, not much. Nowhere else in the world. It belongs to us. And maybe that's why we feel rather special when we go and feel, oh, we've got a secret that nobody else has got. Pantomime. Yeah.
Amazing. Have you all been to the Panto, guys? Put your hand up if you've been to a Panto. Yeah, look. Amazing. Right, should we have another question? We have Henry in the audience. Here's Henry. Henry, go ahead.
Good luck, Henry.
What happens at a pantomime, and is this pantomime going to be a bit silly or serious, or maybe somewhere in between?
That's a detailed question.
Excuse me. Hang on. Can I just say the Conservative Party conference and the BBC need a new journalist.
Get up there.
Read it out again. Read it out again. Your pronunciation. Yeah, a bit louder.
Go on, Henry.
What happens at a pantomime, and is this pantomime going to be silly or serious, or maybe somewhere in between?
What happens at a pantomime, and is this pantomime going to be silly, serious, or somewhere in between?
All three of them.
All three of them.
It's going to be silly. But what I like about pantomime is there's lots of silliness, there's lots to look at, there's lots to join in, there's lots to shout at, there's lots to laugh at. But it's all strung together on a story. And you're going to get the story with this. And I began to tell you the story earlier on, but it gets very exciting, and the audience is asked to help make everything right at the end, which hopefully they do. So there is a moral, there's a little lesson at the end of it all about how you might live your life a little bit better than if you've been to the pantomime. That is all in the mix. It's like a Christmas pudding, actually. There's everything in that. And it all sticks together somehow. Doesn't it? I want it. Yeah.
But there will be silliness.
There'll be a lot of silliness.
Well, there's always a place for silliness.
Yeah. Sometimes in the Panto, guys, things do go a little bit wrong as well. So watch out for those bits. Sometimes things go wrong. But in a good way. Get to Birmingham. You need to literally start your career, Henry, right away. Good.
What do you look forward to the most about coming to Cardiff?
Oh, what do you look forward to the most about coming to Cardiff?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the statue of a hero of mine, an Aaron Bevan, who came from Wales, and they put a statue up, but the birds discovered the statue, and they sit on top of an Aaron Bevan's head and leave a deposit. The last time I saw him, he was white all over, and I'm going to get back to Cardiff to see if the local authorities have cleaned him up a bit. He was a great man, but he looks a little bit silly at the moment. Or did last time I was there.
He looks silly and also serious and somewhere in between, Henry. Yeah? I'm looking forward to Cardiff because I'm looking forward to going to all the cities that we're going to play outside London, because it's a really exciting thing that we're taking it away from Brighton and the West End, and we're going out and we're going to Ireland as well. Woo! We're doing a week in Dublin. I cannot wait for that. I'm really looking forward to Cardiff because I've got a very good friend, Rianne, there, and she's already primed. She's going to buy about 40 tickets, so I'm looking forward to that night. That's going to be amazing. John, any thoughts on Cardiff / travelling the country and Ireland in general? I've turned into Laura Kuensberg. This is catching. You started something, Henry. Tell me, John, quickly, briefly, what are you looking forward to?
Well, it wasn't me. Well, first of all, in my normal job, when I do the stand-up, I travel around, but I don't spend a week at places, so I'm looking forward to going to places and spending a week there, everywhere that we're going. Obviously, particularly Liverpool, going home, it'd be good to see my mum. But the other thing about Cardiff is I lived in Cardiff for a year last year, because I did Doctor Who, and I was in Doctor Who, so I spent a lot of time in Cardiff. But it was Cardiff in lockdown. which meant all the pubs were closed. So I'm looking forward to going to Cardiff to see it in its natural state, with all the pubs open and all the Welsh people drunk.
Did you hear that? Have you ever forgotten your lines?
Can I
John.
just say, Lola, who's just asked that question, have you ever forgotten your lines, remembered the question, and she's only 3. How brilliant is it that
That's
she's
amazing.
3 and asking us a question?
Top work, Lola. Great question. Ian, have you ever forgotten your lines?
Well, I've forgotten if I have. I don't know. Yes, there must have been times when I got the lines a little bit mixed up. Perhaps because I wasn't concentrating properly, perhaps because I hadn't learned them in the first place, but whatever the reason. But on the whole, you can sort of get round it.
How do you get around it, Ian?
Well, you, like I'm doing now, sort of making it up as I go along, you just keep talking, and as long as you keep talking, people think you mean it. And usually...
Sorry, we've got to walk out. Sorry, that's a worry. That's a worry. We'll have to work on our,
Usually I work with actors, who are very sympathetic to other actors and help them out, John.
Yes. if there's ever a point during this where I have to help you out with the lines, it will be the best moment to me. Yeah, I made him what he is.
William and Victoria. William and Victoria, over to you, please.
If you were rich, like Mother Goose, what would you spend it on?
That's a really good question.
Oh.
If you were rich like Mother Goose, what would you spend it on? Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, we're all thinking, we want to say something really, really magnanimous. And like, I want to just give it all away, but actually I'm just thinking, new knees. New knees.
New knees?
Yeah.
You could end homelessness, or you could have new knees. Hey, whatever journalists are in here, that's what we're dealing with. I want new knees. And you know what? It's a brilliant question. And the hard thing with that is like nobody really knows until you're in that position. But you're right. I think it would be nice to do something good with it.
Give it away.
And like end homelessness and make sure there's no poverty. That's what it would be nice to do with it.
And get some new knees.
But if you've got bad knees, you've got to spend on that first.
What about you, Ian?
If I had all the money in the world, I would buy up all the nuclear weapons and somehow destroy them. But you'd have to have an awful lot of money and an awful lot of influence to make that happen. If I just had a bit of extra money, I'd give it to schools so that they could introduce drama into the curriculum,
Right on.
and so that every week boys and girls and their teachers could have fun putting on plays together.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Anyone here? What about you? Oh, looking at the watch.
Yeah,
Lovely.
what would you do?
It's-
What would you do? If you
Yeah.
had all the money, that what would you spend it on?
I would spend it on a Nintendo Switch.
Spend it on a Nintendo Switch.
Very good answer. Very good answer.
You could probably buy 2 of them. Yeah, good.
Now, we should, at this point, introduce somebody else. We'll do some more questions, don't worry, but I'd like to introduce somebody else to the stage who's a very, very important part of the show. Indeed, without whom there would be no show. I would love to introduce to you, please, our magnificent writer, the one, the only, Jonathan Harvey. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, brilliant. Is the script finished?
The script is sort of finished.
So exciting.
Beginning, a middle, and an end.
Should we have another question?
It's a good story, isn't
It's a
it?
great story. That's what it feels to be.
Yeah. I mean, pantomimes when you see them sometimes, you think, where's the story? What's going on? It's just a lot of things happening. What connects them? And Jonathan is used to writing stories and scripts and telling stories through drama. And that's why he's the ideal person to bring all the fun of the pantomime together. What's good about the story?
Well, I think Mother and Father Goose go on a proper journey. They're this poor couple. These two fairies have a wager to say, I think money can corrupt people, the bad fairy says, and the good fairy says, no, it won't. And they have a sort of wager, can we split this lovely couple up? And they go on this journey together, get absolutely loaded, and then what do they do with the money? Will their relationship survive?
Yes.
The stakes are high, and unlike other pantos, there's a proper journey to go on.
Talking of the
And I
fairies,
knew Jonathan because what do you do for a living?
I write for Coronation Street.
He writes for Coronation. If you want to know what's going to happen next, but Jonathan rang me up and said, would I consider being in Coronation Street if a part was written for me? Are you listening, John?
I am.
I said, yes, please. And you sort of organised it all, didn't you?
I did. I oiled the wheels a little bit, yes.
Oiled the wheels. So when we were putting together this pantomime, I said, I wonder if Jonathan Harvey would agree to leaving his day job and giving us a bit of his time. But you've worked together before, haven't you?
Yeah, we've co-written before.
We have co-written.
Yeah.
We did an ITV drama called Panto. About a pantomime.
when was that?
Jonathan Smith was in it, just the old that was.
I didn't see it either.
You'll see it now, though. You'll see it. It was good. It was very, very good.
Brilliant.
It was based on my experience of being in a panto.
And how was that experience?
It was good enough to write a comedy drama. Yeah.
You mentioned the fairies there, Jonathan.
Yes.
And
Where are they?
well, I'm very excited to say we do have some other cast members in the room with us. Would you like to meet them, guys?
Yeah.
They're all absolutely wonderful. They're close show business friends, which is why I'm going to just check their names on my piece of paper. No, because I want to get it right. I want to get the names right. So, right, here we go. Come on. We've got Oscar Colon-Murray, who's playing Jack. We have Sharon Ballard in the room, playing Lydia, the evil fairy. We have Karen Mavundakuri playing Encanter, our good fairy. We have Genevieve Nicole and Gabriel Fleary, who are also here with us. Come on! And we also have Simbi as well. Where's Simbi? There she is. Hello, Simbi. So we've got the full posse. We haven't got the full posse, and we've got a lot of other people, which is great. Are we ready for another question? Who have we got? We've got two more. We've got a screen question coming up. We've got Jay, I think, from Brighton. What does Jay have to say?
Hello. Would you rather be on front or the back of a pantomime horse?
Would you rather be at the front or the back of a pantomime horse? Front. Jonathan?
Well,
Front.
I think so.
John?
I mean, it depends. If you're at the front and you're nervous,
You
I
don't want to be
at the back.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so front.
I'd rather be at the back. Is that weird? I tell you, no. What about you guys? Do you front or back? Back.
Back.
Because I tell you what, then you get the comedy tail. You get to operate the comedy tail. All sorts of comedy happens out of that tail. So, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm at the back.
In the film Lord of the Rings, Gandalf takes his troops up onto a mountain, and we had a horse with us, a pony. I forgot what he was called.
Bill.
Billy? Anyone know?
Bill.
But this wasn't a real horse because we were a pony, because we were all lifted up by helicopter onto the top of this mountain. It was a pantomime horse.
Oh, it was.
And there was a girl. Yes, it was. And the girl, I think the boy was in the front, and his girlfriend actually was at the back. And they got into their costume on top of the mountain, and then they started filming from the helicopter. And I can see it now. He was trapped. They didn't know where they were going because they're blind, and it's deep, deep snow. It was right up to our knees. And as he took the first step, he went right in, and he began to tilt. And we watched in slow motion. Pony die in the snow. But they emerged very jolly because they were best friends, and I think they had a good time in there.
Brilliant. Now, India and Ruby.
As this pantomime is about birds, what is your favourite type of bird?
That's a great question.
Is that the same question you want to ask, Ruby?
No. She's the wingman.
Oh.
She's the wingman, and you are always working, guys. In fact, really not working very much. But Panto's coming, so that's good. Now, what is your favourite bird and why? John Bishop, what's your favourite bird and why?
Peacocks.
Because?
Well, actually, I've got two favourite birds. I'll tell you the first one, peacocks, because I think they're beautiful and lovely. And then rheas. Does anyone know what a rhea is? Right.
A rhea?
The rear of the horse.
No, a rhea is a bird. It's about the size of an ostrich, and I used to have these birds.
What?
We started with 4 of them. We ended up with about 22. We had to sell them. And the reason we had 22 is because the rhea, the rhea is the most liberated female bird ever, because the female rhea lays her egg wherever she wants. She just walks along, goes off, drops the egg, and then walks away. And the male rhea, her boyfriend, has to find the egg and then has to roll it into the nest. He's got no hands, he's got to do it with his nose. What have you done with the kids, you silly cow? And he's got to roll it into the nest. And then when the male rhea gets enough eggs, 4 eggs is the minimum, normally about 6, then he sits on all the eggs. And all the eggs, so it doesn't matter if he finds 1 egg and then 3 weeks later finds another egg. Once he's got all the eggs together, he sits on them, and then they all hatch at exactly the same time. And he's got loads of kids. So that's why I love the rhea, because the women are the boss.
I think those women are utterly irresponsible.
It's been really, really wonderful having you all in this room and also outside Leicester Square. Thank you so much for coming along and helping us hatch our amazing show. Anything else anyone wants to say? Ian, Harv, John, the cast. Come on, cast. Anyone want to say anything?
We're really excited!
Hey!